Всем Боброн, Тада здесь, и это уже очень давно ожидаемый многими ролик с моим интервью Джеймса Хэнсона. Этот ролик без перевода и без всяких дополнений, монтажа и вырезанных частей был выложен у меня на Бусти уже достаточно давно, но сделать хоть какой-то минимальный монтаж и при этом добавить в него субтитры было довольно-таки сложной для меня задачей, особенно в свете последних событий. Однако я рад оповестить вас о том, что он наконец выходит. Для того, чтобы активировать субтитры, вам нужно будет зайти вот в нижнюю вкладку YouTube и там просто открыть их. Я не уверен, правильно ли YouTube распределит тайм-коды, но надеюсь, что все будет с этим в порядке. В остальном же сейчас я записываю некое предупреждение, дисклеймер и тому подобное, что ролик по факту является очень длинным нашим с ним разговором. И, разумеется, также хотел бы упомянуть, что в этом ролике буду не только я и Джеймс, но также и другой, третий ютубер или же инфлюенсер, я не знаю, как правильно его назвать, он имеет лишь один ролик на своем канале, однако он очень сильно помог с переводом, по факту сделав его весь без моей особой помощи, просто потому что у меня не было возможности это сделать, за что ему огромное спасибо. Ссылка на него, как и на Джеймса, сейчас находится в описании. Вы можете спокойно перейти туда, посмотреть, что там да как, оценить их ролики, а также передать от меня еще одно огромное спасибо. В ролике очень много простого разговора на разные темы, не только Блича. Особенно хочется упомянуть, что о Бличе мы говорим очень мало. Здесь, в этом интервью, я хотел, чтобы вы, скажем так, познакомились с Джеймсом, как с человеком и с его мнением, а также познакомить самого Джеймса с тем, какая у нас аниме-культура, скажем так, на Востоке, в России, в русском аниме-сегменте. О Бличе мы говорим очень мало, затрагиваем мы эти темы достаточно редко, просто потому что вся необходимая информация по Бличу и без того публикуется у него на канале и в Твиттере. Задавать ему и без того вопросы, которые ему задают каждый ему в ЛС и в Дискорде, я тоже не хотел. Именно поэтому это интервью было нацелено больше на его личность. Поэтому если вы пришли сюда для того, чтобы узнать там какие-то особые инсайды или личные какие-то вещи, то я этого всего в ролик не добавил. Также и не спрашивал у него ничего такого, это было просто некое интервью, расспрашиваемое о том, как он относится к разным вещам и рассказывая ему о том, как все устроено у нас. Если вам все это будет очень интересно, послушать и узнать, как один из самых важных людей в Блич-сегменте на Западе относится ко всему этому, в аниме-сегменте в целом, и узнать, какие пожелания у него есть для нашего сегмента русского, узнать, что он хочет делать и как он видит возможность коллаборации русского и английского сегмента, то смело смотрите этот ролик, можете оставить его в роли подкаста, просто потому что на экране совершенно ничего не будет происходить, не будет никаких анимаций и чего-то подобного, будет простая заставка, и мы с ребятами там просто будем общаться. Вот. Также в видео есть небольшие проблемы со звуком, просто потому что некоторые из нас звучат очень тихо, некоторые из нас звучат очень громко, и я постарался частично исправить эту проблему, но надеюсь, что это не будет сильной проблемой для вас. Поэтому будьте аккуратны, слушайте на средней, желательно чуть более средней такой громкости, чтобы у вас ничего в уши не ударило, когда Джеймс начнет говорить, и чтобы вы при этом слушали то, что говорит третий вот человек. А так, и я лишь пожелаю вам приятного просмотра. Надеюсь, что ролик вам так или иначе понравится, и вы досмотрите его до конца. А если же будут какие-то особые пожелания, возможно, я смогу замутить какой-то коллаб с Джеймсом повторно или замутить коллаб с каким-то другим западным ютубером, которые делают разные ролики, то вы можете написать, с кем мне стоит это сделать также. А так, еще раз, приятного вам просмотра и удачи. Также чуть не забыл упомянуть нашего сегодняшнего спонсора, который является первым на моем канале. И это сервер в Дискорде Bleach RP Lost Souls, который является по факту ролевой во вселенной Блича. Здесь вы можете найти довольно-таки обширное количество различных локаций, довольно-таки развитую систему развития, которая может привести вас к различным, вообще неведанным вами способам развития персонажа. Ну, также довольно-таки огромное количество ивентов, потому что они проводятся каждый день и каждую неделю. Вы можете выбрать любую расу, кроме Квинси, на свое усмотрение, но, к сожалению, также там нет еще филлерных рас. Однако я думаю, что если бы это было большой проблемой, то администрация все равно могла бы все решить, так как она там очень отзывчивая и быстрая. Комьюнити максимально адекватная и готова встретить любого новичка с распростертыми объятиями. Я надеюсь, что вы сможете оценить это сообщество, перейдя по ссылке в описании, либо по подсказке сверху или закрепленному комментарию. Это очень сильно поможет мне, а также откроет вам довольно-таки хорошие перспективы на то, чтобы паролить за любимого персонажа из канона или создать своего собственного. Еще раз благодарю вас и перейдем к видео.
Всем Боброн, ребят, Тада здесь. И сегодня у меня в гостях очень важный для Блич комьюнити человек, который внес очень большой вклад в комьюнити, JaymesHanson. Это видео будет в основном на английском языке, но с русскими субтитрами. И я надеюсь, что после этого видео вы узнаете об этом человеке побольше, что его контент для вас откроется, что вы подпишетесь на его канал. И, скажем так, вы пропитаетесь тем же уважением к этому человеку, которое я имею к нему. Okay, then. I just briefly introduced you.
Okay, go.
So
I was thinking to myself, oh, this guy could be calling me a bitch and I wouldn't know.
I thought that you might think that. That's why I asked you. Can I start video in Russian?
That's funny, no? That's good.
Okay. Then, I don't know if it's okay with you, but I want you to introduce yourself as you would wish to introduce yourself. Like, what are you doing and stuff.
Okay, that's weird because I've never done that before, but I'll try. Just tell me when to go.
You can just say.
Just go.
Yeah.
So what's going on, everyone? This is JaymesHanson. I've been a part of the Bleach community since, I want to say, 2013. I have been earlier, but that's when I started making content on my channel. I try and provide as much as I can in terms of news and get the Bleach community talking and discussing and making it bigger than I feel like it currently is. And by doing that, I've, talked about a lot of debunks that people have misconceptions about. I also try and provide the news that maybe we hadn't have had for like really long amounts of time. And yeah, I just try at my hand at everything I possibly can surrounding the Bleach series, and as well as the anime community as a whole.
Yep. And I have a first question for you, James. It's how you discovered Bleach. What was your first impression of it, and what you thought about it at first?
Yeah, so I was a kid watching TV. In the UK, we did have Toonami, which was an American TV station, but we had it at midnight, and it was its own kind of section off of Cartoon Network that eventually became its own program. And I watched Bleach for the first time in, I think it was 2006, maybe 2007, when it first aired, I believe. Again, my dates are jaded. It has been a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool because I used to watch shows like Robot Chicken on there at the time.
Oh yeah.
And Super Meatball Squad, I think it was.
Yeah.
So it was around about that time, and yeah, I came across it, loved it, thought it was awesome. I didn't really dedicate myself to Bleach really until 2009, going into 2010, where I had gone out my way to watch Dragon Ball, wanting to watch a new series, and came across Bleach again. Realized that I'd watched it back in the day, and I marathoned it. Even though I watched some of the episodes because I recalled, getting to see them from start to finish was like really refreshing. And then I think because that was on and off, I actually caught up around about the Gin versus Aizen fight where Gin had just used his Zanpakuto, and that was mad. So I was watching it weekly at that point, and I actually watched all of the what arc was it? The Ray Guy arc. I watched all of the Ray Guy arc thinking it was canon, coming to find out it wasn't. And then when we got to the Fullbring arc, I started reading the manga very religiously, and it kind of spiraled from there. I felt like a lot of people on YouTube were doing the chapter reviews at the time, and they were very generic, and I at first didn't want to do it because I wanted to do something different. But I eventually got involved in the chapter reviewing community and started around about Kenpachi versus Unohana, I believe. Yeah, so that was really fun, and I enjoyed that. So
Okay. I was watching anime like in 2010, I believe. And as in your situation with Regai arc, I thought that Bound arc was canon because
yeah,
afterwards we've seen like Jin Kariya appeared in Ichigo's inner world with
yeah,
fight with White, and you are just like, oh my god. But then I just learned that in the manga those like Kenpachi, Byakuya, Kariya appearances was never even there.
yep. Good old anime, right?
Yeah, they extended so much things, and to be fair, some of my audience still believe that Bound arc is canon, even though I say them that it's not.
Oh, that's
And
terrible.
yeah, and some of them just don't listen to me, but still, it's funny to argue about it. And the second question is, when did you decided to talk about it on YouTube, about the Bleach consistently, and what kind of obstacles have you had around that time?
So I started doing it. Sorry, hang on, let me start again. So I started doing Bleach consistently on YouTube. I would like to say around about 2014 to 15. After doing some Bleach chapter reviews in 2013 and doing it like once a week, I realized that like this was something that I wanted to do. Now, granted, I wanted to do anime content in general, but as time went on, I realized that I had my passions more towards Bleach, and I wanted to become a unique individual. So in regards to the obstacles, I mean, other than like college and work that sometimes stopped those videos from happening, I would say there is a difficulty when it comes to sorry, my phone went off. There is a difficulty with competition, whether there is too little or too much. And what I mean by that is, when there's too little competition, it's very hard to garner an audience that isn't already solidified within the community itself. And when there's too much, a lot of misinformation and a lot of annoyances come with people's analyses or news related videos. For example, when Bleach ended and Super Eye Patch Wolf made his video about why Bleach ended, that was an inconvenience and an obstacle for me, because then I had to dedicate quite a few amount of videos to debunk and try and soften that blow that people's misconceptions had had. So, but around about the time that I started, there wasn't really any obstacles besides real life scenarios such as work and education.
Yeah, I totally understand you, because right now, if I'm being honest, in Russian community, there are just two YouTubers who is really dedicated only to Bleach, and it's me and another my friend who just said to me, once I said to him that I want to talk about Bleach on YouTube, he said just start it without ever thinking about it. Don't do a content like don't put too much thoughts about it. Just start it and go and develop yourself as you go. Because if you will always say that I'll start tomorrow, you will eventually just run out of time. Yeah, so there are just only two of us that doing content dedicated to Bleach.
I think when you don't have much competition as well, you do get extremely lazy. If you haven't solidified your place, but also when there's too much competition as well, you kind of just think to yourself, oh, what's the point? Someone else has already covered it, or someone else has already done it. So
yeah, it's really difficult here because before I started to do a content about Bleach, this other guy just reached his 50,000 subscribers milestone, and he barely moved from it by that point. That's also about the Bleach community in general, says about something in Russia at least. Because there are not so much fans of it right now, and I will talk about it later when we will discuss the community itself.
I feel like you do hit a wall, like you do get to a milestone and then it stops because you've reached the most you can reach at that point, and you have to do something different to kind of reach out a little bit more and hope that it sticks. And that's a lot of problems for like, especially I remember when Bleach Brave Souls was quite new, there was a huge wall of like 10k 20k because not many people were playing the game, so it was harder to reach out past that number, and you'd have to rely on your personality or maybe something you can do in the videos which would garner a general audience rather than a dedicated one. So it's definitely difficult in that regard.
Yeah, and when it comes to high, what did you say? Concurrency. Then we have another really big YouTubers that cover anime in general, and when they do Bleach videos, they generally misinformating people. They just don't even try to find information or the source of it, because when I laughed by the way when you made this meme with Ufotable that Bleach anime will be made by Ufotable, and the thing that upsets me is because my colleagues from Russian Bleach community, they also spread this news, and it was difficult for me as well because so much people started to come to me and say that I'm wrong, that I'm just not knowing something just because the bigger YouTuber said something, and I'm the little one, I just don't know anything.
Yeah, and I mean, I do apologize to some extent with people that did fall for that. However, the point is that, especially with Jump Festa coming around the corner, it's every year that this happens. Jump Festa comes close, announcements are going to get made, and people on Twitter are so desperate for attention that they will try and make up leaks. And because people want leaks incredibly bad, I mean, who doesn't want to know if their favorite series is going to get an anime? Everybody wants to know the thing that they like is going to get treated great. So there is a desperation, and you know, I felt like I had to hurt a few people to get them to see sense. I felt it was a little bit of a low false leak, to be honest with you. That wouldn't really hurt anyone because people have been talking about Ufotable for at least a good year. So I thought it was a safe bet that seemed unrealistic, but was realistic enough for people to kind of get the bait for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm totally understand that because I was on your side of things. I want my audience to not jump into conclusions. I always say in my video that if you run into information about Bleach or something from it, if you're trying to analyze it, just try to covering as much information as possible. Find sources, find everything before running around and saying, oh, Bleach is going to made by Mappa or Ufotable or vice versa. Like,
can I have my input on this?
yeah.
When I've seen James's video, that was the moment that I joined his Discord server, not to get fooled by some other leaks that he might possibly make to misinform people or just to show them that don't trust anything.
Don't worry, I don't plan on doing it again.
You know that after that video, everyone was just like, trust no one, even me. And yeah,
absolutely, and that's the point. Trust no one until officials come out. You know, even I get stuff wrong, and I have done. You know, so, but I mean, leaking is because there's so many translation errors as well that, you know, you learn as you go along. So sometimes you'll get something right, sometimes you'll get it wrong. And if you get it wrong, you have to say, okay, well, why did I get it wrong? What happened? And then once you learn from that fault, then you'll increase your likelihood to get better leaks and better information that way. Yeah, but however, I don't plan on doing that sort of stuff again. But to always be wary that no one is 100% correct all the time.
Yeah. But still, another thing that I wanted to discuss with you is how do you deal with misinformation? How do you deal with some people that covering same topics as you misinform people and creating so much your audience to go to you and ask you so really dumb questions sometimes that really don't have a point at all?
Honestly, I don't deal with it well. I feel like if I was the younger version of me, like, to me that would have been an excuse to make a video and to make some quick revenue or some quick money. However, as I've gotten older, I've kind of gotten more annoyed that I have to go out my way to make an opinion about it rather than put my time into something more productive. So I don't deal with it well as I probably would have in the past, because I feel like the internet should have evolved at this point. Maybe that's my expectation. That's wrong. But I feel like Google is free. Everybody knows how to use Google at this point, and research is readily available. And with some things, there's no excuse. So if somebody wants to say, you know, the biggest YouTuber ever has said that Bleach is doing bad and its sales were bad, well, Google's there to say otherwise, and it will take 10 seconds. You don't need me to fix that problem for you or to give you validation. So I do get quite annoyed at it and more angry than I should about it. So yeah, that's generally my opinion on that.
Okay, because in Russian community we have so much like sites and links that just bait you with misinformation. That when you just type when does the second season of Bleach come out, the first and second and third and like maybe the full page of it will be covered in fake links with fake information about it. Because me and my friend that also covers Bleach, we were just tsunamied by some fans of it that just asked us, is Bleach coming, let me check, 23rd November.
Yeah, that was the link. I've seen it.
Every single fan just said that Bleach second season, first first chapter, first episode will air in 23rd of November. Even though there is no logic into it, we haven't seen even PV at that point.
I actually hadn't heard of that leak, to be honest.
That's the one that's been spread throughout the Russian community.
Yes.
Oh, right, specifically. Okay.
Like
It's
this,
interesting.
this site.
21st
Yes.
November. I've seen November 21st.
First or third, I not quite remembering, but we were tsunamied by that questions, and even not questions. I was the video that made me go viral in Russian community was that at 2020 I made a video that we must not wait Bleach anime until 2022. There was me analyzing like why, what should stop it from being that, and what time do production might take. And I'm quite proud of this video, but the thing is, even though this video went viral, every single fan of mine just went in their way to write to me that I was wrong, that we'll see the first episode 2021 this November or December at Jump Festa. And every time I said, no, there is no way, and just given them the facts, everyone was just like, oh, just you wait till November or December, just you wait. And I was also pissed off, but didn't really put much effort into expressing this anger towards the audience, because they are my audience, even though they believe into shit.
But you've also got to realize that, from my experience, is that your audience can turn on you just as quick. You may show respect to your audience, and so do I. I love my audience. I do. They're a bit spurgy sometimes, but I love them. But from the past of doing this for over 10 years, I think it's been 10 years or close to 10 years. Yes, I'm old. You realize that people come and go, and people are just as quick to turn on you just as much as they are to love you. And you unfortunately have to treat them the same way, and you have to be quite, I wouldn't say dominant with them, but you have to be completely upfront and honest. And that's the only thing you can do. If they're being idiotic, you need to say you're being idiotic, because these are people that look up to you. So the best thing you can do is, not parent them, but be completely upfront with them, because sometimes they need that, in the most loving possible way you can. But that's my mentality going into it. I'm not saying it's correct, but that's how I deal with it.
I'd say that you need to be honest with your community and with yourself.
Yeah, that's what I also feel like. I'm trying to be honest with my audience. It's just the emotions that I feel, they are not always the thing that really drives me or something. I will fire up on them. I will just be really angry at them, but maybe just one day after that I will be okay, I'm chill.
Yeah, of course. And there's not been many days where I've not been angry and then been chill the next day. But unfortunately, not many people realize how hard it is to be a content creator, because whereas you're one person, sure, you have your audience that can back you up, but you shouldn't rely on that, right? It's you're a figurehead, and people, whenever there's a problem, you're the one that is used to either give the praise to or the one to be given the fault to. So let's say a scenario where a Bleach PV doesn't happen at Jump Festa and people are getting angry and upset. They're not going to be upset at Shueisha or at Bleach or Kubo. They're going to be upset at the person that they can reach, and also the person that can understand their language.
Yeah, that's the problem as well. And I wanted to ask you another question that will transit to second part of the video, when I will also try to tell you what is Russian community of Bleach in general is, not just Bleach, I think, but anime community in general. And this question is, what do you think about the Eastern Bleach community, with its like mentality right now, when the anime is coming back, and when we didn't knew that it's gonna come back, but some of
Well,
us
as-
just hoped about it.
Well, excuse my ignorance, but the only thing that I was seeing from the eastern side of the community was your countries like China, Korea, Philippines, and Japan, obviously.
Yeah,
I didn't really see much of Russia. I mean, I did see the occasional Russian post on Facebook back in the day, but for the majority of the time, they were really strong as a community.
Yeah, that's not wondering, because the majority of people don't use Twitter, then don't use Facebook. They use the Russian analog of Facebook. It's called
Sure.
Kontakt, and they just post their things and thoughts and other and links from Cuba's club. Yeah, they think that they can do this like scot free, get away with it.
Mhm.
They don't
Yeah.
consider it like being such a problem that they don't pay money. They just can get it illegally, because that's how the Finnish are. You just
Mhm.
you can download really everything,
I mean,
games, movies, like TV series.
yeah.
You won't get sued for it. Nothing. There's no DMCA around it. Or
No, of course, absolutely. I think, partly the reason why I saw a lot of positivity was, as you said, a lot of these countries have their own social medias, and they're not as influenced by the mentality of the West, so to say. So like the entitlement and the bitching and moaning, so to say. But as you said, they can just repost stuff and get away scot free with it, etc., etc. I get both sides of the argument of like you want to see this sort of things and you want to talk about it and you want to share it. However, it's like it comes to a point where, like, I'm from the UK and I can get into Club Kubo, right? Like, I can't enjoy any of the benefits, like, get the gifts like shipped to me and stuff like that, but I can get in. However, with that in mind, they have requested please don't share anything, and if I myself am paying £100 a month to enjoy these things, then why should anyone else? Right? It's like,
sorry to interrupt you.
no,
but
no, carry on.
I can add up to the club because the people of the Russian Bleach community decided just to get each of their share of money to create a club account and like to get stuff from there. Like, it's a
I mean,
collective.
if you want to do that, then that's fine, and you have your own little like group chat, then that's cool. Do that, but you don't need to share it around the world, because it's like you've
Oh,
given yourself,
your
well, you've
internet.
just wasted like the equivalent. Hello.
We lost your thought because you left.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a good.
Yes, yes, right now.
Okay.
I thought my internet connection fucked
Yeah.
up.
Okay, that's cool. I'll just start again. In a more concise manner. I think if you have like a bunch of friends putting in money towards a pot for you to get a Club Kubo membership, then that's cool. Stick to your little group chat, right? And like share them and talk about them, etc., etc. I think the moment you start throwing it out there into the world, though, it's like, well, cool. You've just, paid the equivalent of $100 for like 20,000 people who don't even know who you are, don't appreciate anything of what you do, and just take it for nothing. And that's the entitlement that annoys me, is that some of the people, I'd argue the majority of people haven't put a lick of even a cent, a penny, any other currency, towards the series of which they apparently enjoy, and you just want to take something for nothing because you feel you're entitled to, and that annoys me. It's like, I didn't put in my hard-earned money for you to just gallivant all these images for yourself. You know, it's insulting a little bit.
Yeah,
You know, people think, people of East, especially like Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, and Belarus, think that they're not ought to pay any money to get
Mhm.
this content. They think they can get it for free, not appreciating the work that's been put into it and the other things. But if some people like really can like or get through the club or pay the money, I think like I don't know, it's just that causes them this problem, and yeah,
Mhm.
to put it that way.
For me, in this regard, this was a transition to Russian community of Bleach, because at the time in like 2000, beginning of 2000s, we didn't had any licensed way to get to watch anime or read manga. All of it was just translated and put into internet by some pirates. Like they are not asking from Japan or somewhere else to put it into internet, because they didn't had any resource to do so, but they genuinely loved manga, genuinely loved anime, and that's why the culture was little in Russian community, but at least with the people that loved it, not just to gain the money from it. Most of them didn't gain anything from it, but just to spread the culture of it in Eastern community.
And yeah, I think that's cool, because, you know, realistically, we'd like everyone to be humble and have good intentions and be like, hey, I did this really cool thing, come and have a look at it, you know, and share that with a community of which you can enjoy. And it's unfortunate that people can, you know, like, say, you know, someone in the Russian community, you know, translated a whole episode of Bleach in Russian. They did it for their friend group and the community, and then someone says, oh, that's cool, let me take that, put it on my website where I get ad revenue. It's like, well, cool, you've just made it really toxic now.
Yeah,
No,
that
I've
also
never seen
happens.
people do this.
Yeah,
That
I've
also
seen-
happens.
I've
Yeah.
seen the fan dubs posting on the Bleach group, the most like the widespread one. It has 80,000 members, and I've seen the fake records on arc being translated as of now, and the fillers are coming up, and then the Fullbringer arc. They just make it for the community. They I think they don't get paid for it. Like, yeah, no money, just altruism.
The point I was going to make is anime community in general. I don't know, maybe you heard of it or not, James, but in eastern side of anime community, people who like anime are not so loved by the general community, general public. Most of us in the beginning of 2010s or mid 2015 were beaten up by some guys on the streets if they learned that you are watching anime. There was some
now, like you know, it's in a more of jokingly manner, but back then, yeah, you could have been possibly like they call you, like, I don't know, you can say that word in English right now. It's an F word, but the other one, like
yeah.
So yeah, and in public, when you just say that you watch anime, right now you are just cringy guy that you know, everyone in West Side just depicts as weeaboo. In Eastern, they put the same effort to understand that all anime community is like this.
I mean, I judge anime fans a lot. Being an anime fan, it's because a lot of them don't help themselves in a sense of
Yeah.
like, you know, if you want to talk about anime, do it in a space or a place that is contextually convenient. So you're not going to be at like in the middle of the street and just smack on some massive like volume 100 some Japanese songs, right? Because it's like there's no need for it. It's
Yeah.
like it's been weird. And sometimes like, yeah, if you want to walk around wearing an anime t-shirt, it's like cool, it's whatever. I see it as no difference than wearing like a football team's t-shirt, etc., etc.
I
But
know. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but in Great Britain, I think you shouldn't walk in Manchester's like in front of Manchester United fans wearing Man City shirt. Yeah, get the shit bent.
yeah, there's that as well. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, there is a time and a place to do these things. But anime fans, I feel, are extremely insecure and defensive, where if they get a chance to talk about something like that, there is no limit. There's no, yeah, that it's like an agenda at that point. It's like someone pushing religion onto it. It's like it's either you like this or you don't, and it's like, oh, like,
Yeah, there are definitely no breaks like in their no
yeah,
stop button.
it's a personality trait, and that's a lot of there's a lot of issues regarding that. So like, I like Bleach and I like anime, sure, but like there's loads of other things that make me rather than one aspect, like rather than one show. You know what I mean? Which I think maybe people still believe that about me, like, oh, I only know about Bleach and that's all I can talk about when I wake up or when I go to sleep. But no, like, I know how to go outside and function like a normal human being while enjoy my stuff on the sideline. And I used to get bullied for it, for liking anime, but there comes to a point where you just don't care anymore. It's like, fuck you, you know? It's like, unless they're physically being violent towards you, then that's a problem. But other than that, you don't need to speak to those people, nor do you need to acknowledge them.
Yeah, that's the point. Like, it mostly was violence. The
If it's
answer to
violence,
the
then that's a completely different story. Then I
Yeah.
absolutely agree. That's horrible. Absolutely.
if the guy just sees you wearing anime shirt, even though you don't watch anime, you're getting beat him up to the point that you can't even walk.
Yeah, that's
That I think that was
Yeah.
spread in 2000, but I've seen like some like fan anime cons, I'd say, that were wearing the Bleach suits like Ichigo or Hime or the other things, but I don't think they were been for it. Like they were in Moscow, so there's not that much gopniks, I'd use that term, to like to go and tell them, yeah, what the fuck are you wearing? Are you the like F word? Like,
well, in the West, it
there's
like
no
Russia
limit.
is seen as very like manly, right? So I can absolutely believe that, because anime is kind of seen as kiddish. Even still in the West it is. And I imagine in the more conservative Eastern countries, it's kind of like, you know, we're having like a wimpy society is probably how I imagine their views are.
No, the saddest thing about this all is that when your parents discover that you watch anime, they like on the East, they'd be like, you know, we sort of like don't interrupt with your shit, but this is fucked up, to say the least. They don't say it like as I said word to word, but they say that it's like a bad thing, or they don't get the morals, the script that's being put, the work that's being put. They don't appreciate it. They just look at the drawing and they think, oh, that's for girls or for some other.
It's
types of
not
people.
just that, it's that also the topic that I wanted to cover. It's that even on the government level, on the news that just spread out in Eastern community, because we didn't have any licensed studio that spreads the anime in Eastern side, and all of it was just piracy and everything. No one just stood up to anime and what it is in general, what it represents, and not just Bleach or something, but anime in general. And the press, the news channels, they just created so much bad shit about anime. They just created so much hate towards it from our parents, talking about that it kills your child. It just tries to make him go suicide himself. And they put it on the channels and thinking that it's true. And when someone goes there as an expert, like as they call them, but it's just someone who watches anime and has a YouTube channel, they call them there, they try to defend the thing that they really love, but in normal way, social way. They just cut everything so clean that it seems like they also shit on anime. They also think like that it kills your child. And every time when parents just see their kid watching anime, they feel like, oh my god, the show is gonna brainwash my kid. I need to prevent it. So even in this regard, it was really difficult.
Yeah, around the world in general, like humans, in terms of psychology goes, people hate change, and anything that threatens that change is automatically seen as bad. So if you don't conform to normal society standards, then it shouldn't be born, because people feel like that they eventually will have to conform, which is something people don't want to do.
Yeah.
Let's say for the modern starters, the elders are the ones that disapprove the normal standards, the everyday standards that they are being as of now. Like they deny them, they don't accept them, and say, nah, fuck it. I'm like, nah, I don't accept this shit. I live by what I was told or learned
it's
like
not
30 years ago.
It's not just this, as I believe. It's just the thing that in the East, you don't really have so much things that you can blame on that childs go and shoot their classmates in the school, and the shit happens right now. So
You mean the same thing that happened with video games?
yeah.
And people conformed to that
Yeah.
later on. It's just one of those things of make an excuse for something so it doesn't increase, but it's never worked and never will work.
The thing is, in Eastern community, because no one stands up for it, no one calls them that they are literally just saying bullshit on public, they are doing it for like maybe 2 decades right now.
I don't think they need to, because I mean, as cool as it would be, what society has shown me is that as the older generation get older, people like you who like Bleach and anyone else that like Bleach or anime in general, as they get older and they have kids, those kids will be brought up better or more open-minded than how their parents were. So, you know, time does make it better. Even if no one needs to speak up with it, it will naturally get better, because as the generations go along, we will become more susceptible to those sorts of media. And the older generation will slowly dwindle out and die, and those thoughts and feelings will not be the majority anymore, but a very small minority.
It's just not stopping, but really slowing the spread of the anime community. Even though there are more people in a Russian anime community right now, just because the pandemic, even though it was a catastrophe right here, no one had like money to just eat. People found something new for their lives, something that they could watch and do in their free time. So they discovered anime, and they
As anime gets bigger around the world at the rate that it's going now, it becomes something of which it's too impossible to ignore.
Yeah, and
I'm sure even North Korea know about anime, to be honest with you.
I feel
You know,
so
They even
too.
they even
Yeah.
make titles, I think.
So
Like
it just it
Chinese,
gets
like
out there.
Yeah,
Korean.
it just because we didn't have someone who had anime in East by the law, it didn't get so much credit for what anime is, and when some kids' death gets blamed on by anime,
But
no
that's
one
happened
just
with everything. Like I remember some kid killed himself because Itachi died. I remember someone set their house on fire because of apparently a Soul Eater manga told them to.
oh my god.
Or Naruto told an American kid to steal a Target. There is Target as the store.
Yeah.
There's the amount of stories that I've read about anime fans doing stupid stuff is ridiculous. But when you compare, I mean, there was Mr. Anime too, who was a content creator and he killed his family. But
Oh my god.
I mean, that is unbelievably still a minority in comparison to fans of video games that have done worse things. People in corporations that are legit criminals. You know, it's like there is
Yeah.
no community where there has never been anyone that's never done anything wrong.
It's just I'm saying that they didn't do it because of anime. They
No, that's the
didn't like
point. Yeah.
they had so much stuff in their lives that ended up in the crime or the suicide or something like this.
Now, there was a correlation at one point in time, where not now, but anime was an escape away from reality. And I understand why people thought anime fans are and still are weird. Were and still are weird. Because a lot of them ran to anime because life was too hard. So they're already damaged people as it is. So I understand why some of these kids do the extreme things that they do. And is there a correlation to anime? No, it's not. It's just more appealing because of how niche it is. And people who are damaged or traumatized or have a difficult life run to niche things because nobody knows it other than you, and you have your own little secret club that no one else is allowed in. That's the mentality I think it is.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure that out, but I think going by the mentality, I mean, it's like people on Twitter where you have kids who are nobodies in school and get bullied, but on Twitter they talk like they're the biggest mafia boss going. it's it's like I'm a loser outside, but when I'm inside this small little group, like this is like I can be someone else. And that's really troubling, I think, to use something as an escape way without dealing with your issues, but I can understand with anime because it was foreign. So you can kind of relate to it in a sense.
I think that that type of thinking made Sword Art Online really a popular anime.
I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because it was the escape way for them, like
It was
literally.
a massive gateway too. Like,
That's...
oh, you like games? And it's in an anime? Oh, I really relate. So yeah, like Sword Art was the perfect, it came at the perfect time.
Yeah.
As a previous means of escapism, I can think of Evangelion because it truly showed the like the introvert side of things.
But the only people that were watching that are like really old people because it was like 4x3.
Yeah.
And when it comes to
I watched Evangelion last year because I never knew of it. Like I just got interested on it.
yeah,
It's quite trendy in Russian community. They're
Oh, yeah,
watching a ton of things.
it's trending now, but like back in 2012 and stuff like that, no one was really picking up Evangelion. Like everyone had heard of it, but like not many people are picking it up. And then
Everyone
I
was
think
doing
it,
all the rebuilds at that time.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's not a question, but I think that in spreading the anime in general public, most of the work done by Rule 34 artists.
No comment.
Just because I have a friend of mine that will help me to translate this video for my channel, and he hates anime for really a long time. It's not like he's hating me or other guys that watch it, but he has this mentality of like, I'm higher than anime, I'm just grown up, and it's just the thing that only kids watch. But when it comes to Rule 34 of it, he knows every single character. Like,
Hell yeah.
I'd say he's childish himself because he brags about how he doesn't like approve of anime because they're like.
I
4K.
think I will cut this scene before we will translate it.
Because he'll know that I talked shit of him. Like it can be seen. It's obvious that he's like that in his behavior.
If he will hear this when we will translate it, he will hate me so much.
Nah, you just make the cut version and no problem.
Okay, and the question that I wanted to make as the last one, but maybe it will be as large as the one that we discussed previously. It's about Bleach community merging with the Western Bleach community, Russian Bleach community, and English Bleach community, merging with each other, trying to cooperate with each other. Not like every time, but slowly but surely making it unite. Do you see it possible?
No.
No?
Nope.
It
would have happened by now.
You think so?
Yeah. I think when it comes to, because I know you want more of like an explanation, and unfortunately I can't give you a good explanation because each community, whether it be the Chinese community, whether it be the Russian community, whether it be the Spanish community, even the British and the American communities kind of clash too, even though we're both English, because our laws and our ideals and our moralities towards things are just so different. So for example, you will have I see a lot of people in the Arabic community too, and there is a lot of confliction with the English and Arabic community because of their concept of death and whether they like the series based off some of the concepts that Kubo drew. So it might go against their faith or whatnot, especially in terms of politics as well. Some communities from different countries may disagree with Kubo's politics, while another community will be like, like, no, this is fine, like it's not that deep, bro. But the other person's like, nah, this isn't how the world works, type of thing. I know it's probably very marginalized, but the language barrier and the confliction of morality shows me that they won't ever coincide, not as like one bubble. And I think that that's okay. I think that that's fine. I think if you want to spread Bleach around in the best possible way you can, it's do it from your own home before you do it into the street, if that's a good analogy to make.
I think that people never learn to respect others' opinions or the way they see things.
And I think that's fine. Like, let other people have their own interpretation of it in a way of which they relate to.
Yeah, it's alright to have the interpretation, but to argue about like your interpretation success, mine's better, like just respect others' opinion, you know? It's like to widen your own way of seeing things by hearing from others, and like, yeah, you're right on that point, or I disagree, but I won't say that your point's shit.
You're just saying the things from the versus community or the power scaling community, didn't you?
Oh fuck, I hate power scaling.
I think it's really cool to hear opinions from people like the German community and the Spanish community, because obviously Bleach has those aspects in its story, you know, with the Espada and the Van Dam Reich and all that. So like it's really cool to learn from them, but I think that that's as far as it goes in terms of coinciding as a whole.
In my opinion, it is not possible that it will like become a big one bubble, as you described it. But the thing is, I don't think it's in nations or the languages that differs them, because in Russian community we just really look up to English and Western side of the Bleach community, just because not because they know better, but because we generally like the thing that runs here. Bleach is more popular in West than in East. Even I think in Japan in general, it was not as popular as in America or
You know, I
UK.
don't know that, because in China it's extremely big, and I don't know why, and I don't know if China actually make up for Bleach's not downfall, but lack of popularity in comparison to the others in other countries. So I don't know if China's carrying Bleach on the eastern side, if I'm honest with you. Because it might be.
Yeah, it might be. We just don't know because we're not in China.
But that's a bit unfair on the other series, because every other series has been banned in China, such as My Hero Academia. So it's like, I think Bleach unironically won by default.
Yeah.
I hope that people from China will join up the
That's
English-speaking community eventually and tell how they ask you this, James. In all seriousness, who do you think is gonna animate Bleach? Because I'm like 90% confident it's gonna be Piero. Like,
Then stick with your assumption then.
Yeah,
don't know.
just stick with it.
I'm just-
My issue isn't who's going to animate Bleach. My biggest curiosity is who's going to animate Bleach with Perio, and that's what I want to know, more than anything, to be honest.
My biggest
Because I do believe that there is a collaboration.
My biggest question is it gonna be seasonal, or is it gonna be like every week one episode or something?
I think it will do the Blood War arc, and then it will go seasonal.
Yeah, maybe, just because 10 years span is just enormous, for me at least.
It'd be like
And-
Dragon Ball Super, where it has like, it will do its series and then maybe a movie or a break before a new season.
Maybe. I think that they will have they will take some time maybe with creating Bleach fillers in canon. I hope they will make in canon filler, not
It will be.
if they will fill Bleach with non-canon fillers, I think fans will lose it. Just the day that non-canon filler episode will drop, they will lose it in Twitter eventually.
I think it's pointless to do fillers because the manga is finished. I think Dekubo's gonna be 18
That's why I feel that they will just enrage.
I'm hoping that they will make the adaptation of novels after the Blood War.
And coming back to the topic I discussed with merging the community, isn't it's normal to just have another opinion in your like local community. Like in UK, you also have the people that look at Bleach differently than the others, and it's not just about the nation. It's just about the how particular peoples watch at it. So maybe it's possible in some way to work with each other in some ways.
If you can't talk to your own people, who are you to talk to multiple different nations of people?
I feel like if we talk about different nations of people, I know that they will, even if I will do it anonymously, they will know right away that I'm not from America or UK just by the way I'm talking.
I don't know, Twitter is a bit slow, so you could probably get away with it.
Maybe, but I feel that they will figure it out eventually. And
Eventually.
so if I will try to at least cooperate with some of you guys, I really want to make a video with Clyde, because his videos and my topics that I cover are correlate with each other, but I know he's busy most of the time, and I don't want it to bother you. I know that you are busy as well. But if this video made it out, maybe by some
So I'm
point-
being used.
You are not being used. I
just
wanted
fucking
to
with you.
make it with you because
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing.
I just really
I'm
love
just being used for other people. Wow.
Oh, 1 second. Okay.
He's like, yeah, I wasn't recording any of that.
No.
Start again. Fuck.
No, if it was like this, I will just be so mad at my computer, because it sometimes happened before, but this time is not the case. The thing is, I just want our people to learn about you guys, like you, DB Zimran, Clyde, Simon Rahara even. He's not English, he's not as good at English, but he does some work with it, and I wanted to cooperate with him as well.
I respect a lot of people who talk about Bleach outside of, obviously, the English-speaking community that I'm in, because I do really wish I could understand what they were talking about sometimes. So like, I do respect it, because it's like, you know, we're not alone around the world, and that's a nice thought to have. But yeah, I mean, that's all I had to say, really, to be honest.
And yeah, I just think that if I will make it seem possible to talk to you guys, to become a fan of yours, even though they haven't heard of you before, maybe it will
And that's
slowly.
fine if they haven't, you know, that's fine. You know, I'm not, you know, supposed to be known worldwide, but
in my opinion, you should be, because the things you've done for the community itself, it's
I would
really...
like to believe that, at least by going by how many videos I've posted over the time of the years that I've been around, I would like to believe that at least everybody at some point who likes Bleach has at least come across the video at least once. Because statistically, it makes sense.
I hope so, and I hope that with this video, I will make it even more possible. And
I think what annoys me more, or the most, is if I've been doing videos for 10 years, the whole high chance that people have questions on something. So like I'll look on the Reddit, or I'll look on Google, or I'll look in a forum, and people are asking like questions about it, whether it be about a character or about the Bleach anime. I feel what annoys me the most is that they have time to ask a question in a forum, but not the time to Google it, because if they Googled it, I would have answered that question for them quite easily. That's what I get annoyed at the most. And why I believe people should know me is because I've done a lot of videos on questions that a lot of people clearly have. So it would make sense.
Yeah, that's the thing that really makes me like go crazy about the thing that my fandom doesn't know you. You just
But if you want to take a video like and recreate it with your own voice or face or whatever, and regurgitate what I say for your audience, then that's fine as well, because at least I would rather have someone that is spreading information correctly to a different audience that I can't reach that well, than someone just flat out lying and you know,
making stuff up.
spreading. Yeah. Because I think as a Bleach community, we're all in this together, right? Where, in the sense of, we all want information to be correct. We all want Bleach to be done correctly and as accurately as possible. We want people to acknowledge how good Bleach is. And I think those three fundamental things is what everybody wants, who is a genuine fan. So I don't see why anyone would have a problem with that if you were to do that, you know.
I've seen posts of like in Russian groups of dedicated to anime that about the Bleach Expo and the Jump Festa Super Stage, and everyone and some people are bitching that, oh, the ending shit, Yuhaba got so easily killed. Like, what the fuck is your problem? Why are you whining?
Then don't consume it. Like,
yes,
that's another thing that annoys me. It's like, cool, thanks for the opinion. Didn't ask. You clearly didn't like it. So why are you here? Like, go away, please.
there is one particular person in my group in social media, Russian social media, who is coming there every time I post a video about like how Kido works in anime of Bleach, and he's just appearing there and comments about, oh, I need to watch some video on YouTube just to understand how the common thing as Kido or Zanpakuto works. It doesn't explain it in the anime, so well, it's and it means that the show is bad and it's shit, and my community tries to answer him. He's just coming from different accounts, even though I ban him.
And just being assholes.
Yes, they are just coming to shit on us, and the thing
this is why people think anime fans are weird, because of people like that. They're not right in their head, man. They're not sane. And this is why, like, I get annoyed on a weekly basis over some stupid stuff because some kid can't get over something.
That's the thing. And the thing that I made a video about when the Hell Arc chapter appeared, I made a video when I tried to become like a toxic version of me. I've put on this mask of Ichigo over my character that I use as a personification of me, and being like really rough with my audience, really said some things, but they understood it was a joke like thing. And I wanted to address by this video some people that genuinely liked Bleach by some point, but they, because of some trends maybe, started to hate it so much. They're just spilling some shit on the series just because everyone does it. And the thing that annoys me the most is
it's called the fear of missing out. And what
Maybe.
that means, and what I mean, you probably don't know what it means, but for the audience watching, essentially what it means is that you want to be validated and accepted by what you think so bad that you'll just follow what everyone else has to say about something without really taking a second glance at it and arguing, because it takes more effort to argue and debate someone about why they're wrong than just to simply agree.
I just like heard of Retro Rhino on your stream, like the shit that he said about the anime returning, and I had so much flashbacks to the people that talked about Bleach back in the day, saying that they love it. They just absolutely think that it is a masterpiece, and after it's ended, after it got axed, as they say, they by trends just started to say that, oh, it was a mediocre series with so pathetic storytelling, I didn't really like it at all, and it's never gonna come back. And when it came back, they again put it on their masks of a fan, and just it became like, oh yeah, I just believe that it will come back eventually, like, and
Again, psychologically, people like to follow trends, people don't like to miss out on things, and also people like to be told rather than make up their own opinion on things. And this is why some people say, oh, you've got the mindset of a leader, or you've got the mindset of a businessman, while other people have got the mindset of, you know, being a follower or working for someone else. In a business term, I suppose. I mean, I butchered that a lot, but like in terms of business, that's how they would call it. Yeah, because there's three thinkers, people that think about the three sides of the coin, is how they call it. There's the good side. Well, sorry, there's one side, there's the other side, and then there's the truth, which is the middle. And people only like to take things, and as you've probably heard of the term, people only take things with face value.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what it means. It's very interesting because it's just easier to be told than to
think by yourself.
Yeah,
Than to check and make your own conclusion. Yeah, that's
for sure.
People these days don't like to think. They just, some YouTuber said this and that, so I'm gonna listen to him just, and like cannot be asked with thinking for myself.
That's why TikTok is so popular right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've heard of the term bad news spreads faster than good news.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that, and I don't know why, but sorry, there's also the term as well that a lie spreads faster than truth as well. And it's because it's so, I don't know, maybe as Westerners we love, because it's so ingrained in mainstream media news and outlets, in comparison to Japan, where in Japan, when you watch their news, they always like kind of flaunt that someone's done a good deed for the day, which is really, it was weird for me, but I strangely appreciated it. In the West, it's kind of like, and again, I can't speak for you guys, you know, where you live, but we're so used to hearing about bad news that it's almost like we're hardwired to notice more negatives than positives.
Yeah,
stuff too.
In the media, I think when you talk about some bad stuff happening, it's just going more viral, and it got more views because people are worried.
Yeah,
they just do it for the cloud.
Because it's almost like it's a controversial opinion, but it's not. But it acts like it is, but it's not, because people then end up agreeing with you.
Yeah.
You can't do it now with Bleach because of the popularity coming back, so it's actually turned against its favour to be negative towards Bleach at the moment, because then now you're seen as a hater, you're just jealous the anime is coming back, and it's weird how those mindsets change, because I disagree with both of them. If you want to be a hater, oh yeah, because Bleach is dead, its current situation is dead, but the moment it's popping and you make a criticism, oh well, you're just jealous. But I hate both of them because both of them hold no solid weight. It's just a coping mechanism, I think.
Exactly. And
that these people like need to stay by their own opinion and don't spread it, because nobody gives a fuck about your opinion. Just stay by it, and if you don't give a fuck about the things that's been released, just don't write shit about them. Just like, oh yeah, it's that Bleach, yeah, skip it. So yeah, just don't spread your opinion. Who the fuck needs your opinion? The fans will be happy, but like, will they be happy seeing your negative comment and be
No.
like, oh, thanks for ruining
Now, let's
the
be honest,
Bleach?
before we started to record this video, so much people just hated Boruto because everybody just agreed on hating it, I think. But I think Boruto also has some fans. I'm not one of them, but
Boruto has fans?
Every anime has fans, even
Oh
though it's shit.
Christ.
I'd say that.
I know one of them that is a fan of Boruto because he didn't watch Naruto at the time.
Yeah, but I've seen that a few times too. Yeah.
And
That's confusing
yeah.
as all to me, but yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
And they also feel offended by our criticism, but still, we love to critique something that we don't like publicly, as well as we love to praise something that we like. And
Maybe. Because I liked the Boruto movie when it first came out. Like, hearing that Boruto was going to get a sequel, it was kind of like, oh, this is Dragon Ball territory to some degree. But then I watched it at the movies and I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this. This was really fun to watch. And then when I heard, that they were doing a sequel, I was like, I was on the fence a little bit about it. I was a bit annoyed because Noriaki Ebe was being a director and that was the director of Bleach, so I was a bit annoyed of it. But when you consider how many like fillers it was doing and it was redoing, and look, I didn't like it with Super either, where they just rehashed the movies. I have yet to find a validation to why Boruto needed to be made, and I think that's the biggest criticism for me, is that it didn't need to be made, and its reasoning of being made as well is disingenuous. That it is just a cash grab, and whatever they'll write, it will just stick anyway because the fandom's there for it. But then again, the manga sales don't really show that either, so it's like,
why is it still here?
yeah, why is it still here? And then people say, oh well it sells, it's like TV Tokyo's most profitable. But when you look at the merchandise for Boruto and you look at everything else surrounding it, it's sold with Naruto, it's sold with the Naruto name. And
every time when Naruto pops up in the Boruto anime or does something with Sasuke on par, that's when it goes viral, not when Boruto does some shit. It's because like everyone just loves Naruto, because everyone just wants to see him more, and that's why it becomes popular whenever he does some shit, because audience wants him, not Boruto.
I mean, I think they did a tuning exams quite recently, and I think his name is Denki. I think his name is like some nerdy kid from like Boruto's class. Came in using I think a prosthetic body, and I was like, wasn't Boruto shunned for using a ninja tool, and this kid's using ninja tool?
Yeah.
Funny. But the Sakuga was so good, like the animation was so good that people were talking about that, and I was like, again, something else that's being hyped where Boruto is not the main attraction. It's like everything about Boruto that's talked about is good except for Boruto himself.
That's the issue with the series. But I think Clyde or Seth, I don't remember who, but maybe Swag. Yeah, maybe Swag did a video about Boruto, and they said that anime did no justice to the manga, and manga is better than the anime by hundreds of times because of the Kawaki character.
The art is still bad.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I don't know who likes it. Like, I haven't liked the art of Naruto manga still. I think that anime just saved the Naruto from the failure, if I'm being honest, because the Kishimoto art was not really something that catches the eye, if I may say
His
so.
backgrounds are good. I'd
Which,
say
sorry?
everyone's been praising the backgrounds in the manga.
I just don't know why do people love backgrounds in the manga so much. Like I know that Miura with his Berserk manga does some really good shit with it, and its
Panels are
details. Yes, its details was so amazing, and Murata with his One Punch Man art is also someone who's praised by his artwork. But I think that even if he will not draw the backgrounds as he does, it still will be looking amazing. And for me, I am being biased, but Kubo's art is like one of the best in the Shonen Jump. And I just really don't know why people just catch the black or white background catches the eye maybe when Kubo
I wanted to
does.
say that Kubo's been criticized for not having a background, just some black or white feeling thing instead of the background.
But the
I don't
character
get it.
design is so much better. I just don't know why he's criticized so much, and maybe I just don't understand shit about art.
Or vice versa, they don't.
Maybe. I just maybe the minority of the Eastern community, if I'm being honest. I I don't like versus or power scaling too much, just because it really depends on your opinion, not the
Power scaling
facts
is super
sometimes.
subjective. It's
Yeah.
super
You
subjective.
can scale someone like Ichigo, like how fast he is or how strong his Getsuga is, but someone else will do his scaling, it will be mediocre. And it really depends on how and not when, but how and why would you do the scaling? Like, would you want to like scale Ichigo up to someone like Yua with his almighty destroying the 3 dimensions, and if Ichigo could cut Yuha by his Getsuga, is he also able to cut 3 dimensions at the same time? There are guys.
And I'm not a scientist, mate.
You know, I wanted to mention that part of the Russian community. I think in Western community it's the same. Like, there's been a shit ton of arguments who's better. Even the video got released, like the Aizen versus Madara by the death battle. I didn't watch it, but I think it's super shit. As
No,
the
if
tofu
they did the research on things, if they at least called Clyde or Seth to, I don't know, help them, not just watch their video, but at least like talk to them, they would make a good video, because their production, their animation, it's not the best, but they could do something that is really valuable for anime community. It's just the way they do stuff is not very good.
Okay. I read.
So the last question, let's finish it up. James, what do you will say to the Russian Bleach community as something that you wish for them to be when you learn something from this, if you learned something from this video about the Russian community?
I would like, yeah. Considering that, and if I'm being told is the truth, if there is not that many content creators for Bleach, I do advise that there should be more. And there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to really get out there. And if there is as many misleading people that there are, especially within forums or groups in the community, then I wholeheartedly say to get out there, do your best as a fan to try and spread as much truth as you can out there, as well as debunk a lot of maybe some things within that community that you've been hearing of, and overall just spread some positivity and love that is Bleach now that the anime is coming back, and let's make it as big as we can, and not only on the English side but also on the Eastern side as well, or the Russian side, or the Chinese side, etc. Get out there and let's just try and make it the biggest thing that we can next year, if not the years following up.
Okay, then I thank you for making this video with me. Thank you for answering these questions.
Thanks for being with us.
You don't need to say thank you. I'm just a random guy on the internet.
But I haven't said it to you, but to cooperate with you,
I'm difficult. Yeah.
no, you are not difficult at all. Because to cooperate with someone, even with my friend who's doing YouTube, to cooperate with them, you can't do that even for free. Most of them ask you for $100 just to appear in your video.
Oh, can I have $100?
I will try if I will get $100.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I want a Bitcoin instead.
I'll farm it.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, cheers.
Okay, so thank you again, and I hope that I will see you in the next video of yours
At
with,
Jump Festa.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
Jump
Live
Festa.
stream.
So
I think we'd see
And we'll
each
be
other.
celebrating champagne glasses, get that little PV and that key visual. It's going to be beautiful.
I think so too. I will be in Russia by that point. I will. I have a flight, December 17 and December 18. I hope I will just get up, start the stream, and we'll talk about what happened in Jump Festa. So I hope you're the best.
Thank you for inviting me onto the video, man.
Okay, then I think it's the end. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Удачи вам, здоровья и боброн.